Earth was silent. The skies above were filled with smoke, fire, and falling ships. Cities were breaking apart. The oceans burned. The enemy, a cold and powerful race called the Thalrex, had arrived weeks ago. They came without warning, without mercy. Their ships were black and sharp like blades, cutting through Earth's defenses with ease. No one had ever seen weapons like theirs. People screamed, families ran, but there was nowhere to hide. Inside a deep bunker under the old United Nations building, a group of tired human leaders sat around a glowing screen. A single message was being sent across the galaxy. It was short, direct, and desperate. To the Galactic Council, Earth is under attack. Billions of lives are at risk. We need help. Please respond. Captain Rhea stood behind the table, her hands shaking. She was young, just 27, but already battle-worn. Her father had died fighting the Thalrex above Mars. Her mother was missing in New York. She looked at the message and whispered, "Please answer." Far away, on the planet Thylos, the center of the Galactic Council, 12 alien leaders watched the same message. They were calm, quiet, and cold. They were not human, and they didn't feel the same pain. One of them, a long-necked being with gray skin named Varkul, leaned back and said, "Earth is already lost." A smaller creature with green eyes spoke, "But the humans helped us last year. They saved Kalar 9 from a plague. We owe them." "No," Varkul said, "we owe them nothing. If we help Earth, the Thalrex will come for us next. We stay out." The vote began. One by one, each council member pressed a button. 10 red lights, 2 green. Earth had been denied. The final result was clear. No help would come. They didn't even send a reply. Back in the bunker, the screen went dark. The message had stopped transmitting. No answer came. Rhea stared at the screen for a long time. She couldn't believe it. "They left us," she said, her voice barely a whisper. The other officers around her dropped their heads in silence. One of them cursed. Another cried. Then something changed in Rhea's eyes. She stood tall, fire returning to her heart. "No," she said. "This isn't over." She ran to a small panel on the wall. It was hidden, locked by a code known only to high-level officers. She pressed her hand against it. The wall opened, revealing a silver device glowing faintly blue. A hidden signal beacon. Rhea sent one last message, not to the council, but to a place no one talked about. A secret human base far beyond Saturn's rings. A place built in silence. Its name, Project Fury. The message was simple. Earth betrayed. Activate Fury. Begin Operation Firestorm. In the cold space beyond the planets, something stirred. Deep inside a dead moon, hundreds of human warships sat in silence. No lights, no signals, only shadows. Suddenly, red lights blinked on. Engines hummed. Pilots woke from cryosleep. The fleet commander, a tall man with a metal arm named Dax, opened his eyes. He read the message. His face was calm. Then he spoke. "They left us to die. Now, we bring the storm." Back on Earth, the skies kept burning. The Thalrex dropped. More bombs. A child screamed. A father carried his daughter through the rubble. People had lost hope. But in the darkness, something was coming. The galaxy thought Earth was finished. The Council had turned their backs, but they had made one mistake. They forgot what humans become when they are cornered. They forgot how humans fight, when they have nothing left to lose. And now, the human fleet was waking, full of rage, full of fire, and it was heading straight for the stars. Far beyond Earth, past the burned edges of the solar system, there was silence. But deep inside a hidden moon near Saturn, that silence ended. A heartbeat returned. Lights flickered, engines warmed, and the most dangerous fleet ever built by humans began to rise from the shadows. This was Project Fury, Earth's final defense plan. It was never meant to be used, only activated if Earth had no other choice. Now that time had come. Commander Dax stood in the center of the command ship Iron Vow. He was tall, strong, and quiet. His left arm was made of steel, a gift from an old war. He had fought in many battles, but this one was different. This time, Earth had been betrayed, not just by the enemy, but by the Galactic Council. Dax read the message again on his screen. Earth betrayed. Activate Fury. Begin Operation Firestorm. He looked at his crew. Wake every pilot. Power every gun. We're done hiding. Inside the giant hangars, pilots jumped from cryo-sleep. Mechanics ran to their stations. Ships floated out of dark caves, sleek and deadly. They were painted black with sharp red lines, silent wolves ready to strike. One of the officers, a young man named Lin, spoke. Sir, are we heading to Thalrex territory? Dax shook his head. No, not yet. First, we deal with the Council. There was a pause. But they're not the ones who attacked us. Dax's eyes were hard. They let it happen. The fleet moved with deadly silence. No signals, no warnings. Just black warships slipping through space like shadows. Within hours, they reached the edge of Thalos, the Council's homeworld. Captain Rhea was now on board the Valkyrie, a fast strike cruiser. She suited up, her armor scratched but strong. Her eyes burned with quiet rage. Her home had been destroyed, her people betrayed. She wasn't here to talk. As the human fleet neared Thalos, the Council finally noticed. Their defense stations lit up, sirens screamed, alien leaders panicked. What are they doing? Shouted one Council member. They're not answering hails. They're charging weapons. Too late. Dax's voice echoed through every human ship. This is not a rescue mission. This is justice. The sky above Thalos exploded. Human ships struck fast, targeting communication towers, power grids, and defense systems. No civilians were hurt, only the ruling class. Precision strikes, no wasted shots. Inside the Council chambers, chaos ruled. Rhea led a ground team straight through the broken doors. Smoke filled the room. Some aliens ran, others fell to the ground. Rhea walked calmly through the smoke, holding a small picture in her hand. She slammed it down on the Council's round table. It showed her city, New Boston, burning under Thalrex fire. This, she said coldly, is what your silence cost. One alien leader tried to beg. We had to protect ourselves. Rhea didn't let him finish. You made your choice. Now we make ours. The strike didn't last long. Within an hour, the Council's power was gone. Their ships were disarmed. Their leaders captured or hiding. But one of them, Varkul, the same alien who led the vote, to abandon Earth, escaped through a secret tunnel. He ran to a waiting shuttle and blasted into space. His destination? The Thalrex Empire. He brought with him one thing, a warning. As the smoke settled over Thalos, Commander Dax looked at the stars. We sent a message, he said. Now we prepare for war. Captain Rhea stood beside him. Do you think the Thalrex are ready for us? Dax gave a small smile. No, but we're ready for them. Back in deep space, Varkul's ship jumped. Through hyperspace. He contacted the Thalrex High Command and said, the humans survived. And now, they're coming for you. The Thalrex general on the other side laughed. Let them come. One fleet cannot stop an empire. But the general did not know what the Council had just learned. This was not just one fleet. This was humanity, angry, betrayed, and burning with vengeance. And they had just begun. The sky above Thalos was dark, lit only by fires still burning from the human attack. The once proud capital of the Galactic Council now looked broken. Buildings lay in ruins. Smoke rose from every tower. Silence had replaced the usual noise of trade ships and political chatter. The Council had fallen, and the galaxy was watching. Commander Dax stood on the bridge of the Iron Vow, staring at the live feed from the ground. His jaw was tight, his metal fingers tapping slowly. Send. The message, he said. Within minutes, every major planet in the galaxy received the same video. Images of Earth's destruction, followed by footage of the Council chambers in ruins. A voice spoke over it. When Earth cried for help, the Council turned away. When Earth burned, the Council did nothing. Now Earth answers back. The message sent shockwaves across the stars. Some cheered, some panicked. Others prepared for war. But deep inside Thalrek's space, Varkul, the escaped council leader, was already meeting with General Harkon, the Thalrek's war commander. Varkul bowed low before him. "You were right," Varkul said. "Humans are dangerous. They destroyed our council in a day." General Harkon narrowed his red eyes. His skin was rough and cracked, like old stone. "You were fools to ever trust them." "They will come here next," Varkul warned. "You must stop them." Harkon smiled coldly. "Let them come. We will crush them, and this time, we will finish Earth for good." Back on Thalos, Captain Ice. Rhea walked through the ruins of the council building. Her boots crunched on shattered glass. Her squad moved behind her, checking for survivors. One of them called out, "Over here!" A wounded alien leader, bleeding but alive, tried to crawl away. Rhea knelt beside him. "Why did you vote no?" she asked softly. "Why did you let us burn?" The alien coughed. "We were afraid. If we helped you, the Thalrex would attack us next." Rhea stood slowly. "You should have feared us instead." She turned and left him there, alive, but broken. Mercy had its limits. As human soldiers pulled out, the people of Thalos watched silently. They had been ruled by the council. For centuries, now they saw something new. Humans walking through fire, leaving behind justice and warning. On the way back to the ship, Dax met with Rhea in the command room. "How bad was it?" he asked. "They didn't fight," Rhea replied. "They begged, they lied, some cried, but they never once said they were sorry." Dax looked out the window. "They will be soon." A new alert flashed on the screen. A scout drone had picked up movement. Massive Thalrex ships gathering near the edge of their empire. Thousands of them, bigger than anything Earth had seen before. Rhea frowned. "They're ready for us." Dax smiled grimly. "Good, so are we." But in the shadows of space, Varkul was still moving. He had given the Thalrex more than just a warning. He had given them secrets, maps, codes, hidden paths. In exchange, he wanted protection. The Thalrex gave him a cold room and said nothing, and deep in the Thalrex capital, scientists worked quickly. They were building something terrible, something using stolen human technology from a ship they had shot down years ago. It was not just a weapon, it was a message. As the human fleet refueled and repaired above Thalos, Dax called a meeting. "We hit the council," he said. "We showed them what happens when you betray Earth. Now, we aim for the Thalrex. But this won't be like Thalos. This is their empire, their home. They will fight with everything they have." He paused, looking at each face in the room. "If anyone wants to walk away, do it now. No shame in it." No one moved. Not one. Captain Rhea stepped forward. "They burned our world. We don't walk away. We burn them back." The crew cheered. Not loudly, not wildly, but with deep, steady anger. The kind of anger that waits, that strikes hard, that doesn't forgive. The galaxy had seen what humans could do in one day. Now, they would see what happens when Earth fights for every world. It lost, and the Thalrex would be the next to feel the fire. The stars were quiet again, but not for long. The human fleet left Thalos behind and moved toward the Thalrex border. Dozens of warships, fast, sharp, and deadly, formed a spear in space. Behind them, supply ships and med carriers followed closely. Every ship carried survivors, soldiers, or broken hearts. Earth was gone, but its spirit burned brighter than ever. Commander Dax stood on the bridge of the Iron Vow. His eyes were locked on a red dot blinking on the star map. "Thalrex Fortress 9, he said. "That's our next target." Captain Rhea stood beside him. "It's one of their fuel stations. If we take it out, their fleets can't move fast." Dax nodded. "We hit it. Hard. Fast. Then we moved to the capital. But something felt strange. Scouts reported almost no enemy movement. No ships in defense, no patrols, no warning beacons. "They're hiding," said Rhea. "Or waiting." Dax stared at the screen. Then we find out what they're waiting. The fleet entered Thalrex space carefully. Everyone was ready for battle. Pilots sat in their ships gripping controls. Gunners stood by their weapons. Even the medics wore armor now. Then, just as they neared Fortress 9, it appeared. Hundreds of Thalrex ships uncloaked at once, surrounding the humans. "It's trap," shouted Lin from communications. Dax didn't flinch. "Shields up, return fire." The sky lit up with lasers, missiles, and glowing blasts. Ships shook, some exploded. The battle had begun. Rhea's cruiser, Valkyrie, dived into the fight. She moved like fire through smoke, fast, wild, and angry. Her voice echoed through the comms. "Break their line, target their engines." But the Thalrex were ready. They used new weapons, dark energy nets, plasma spheres, gravity mines. Some of them were built from stolen human tech. Dax saw it on his screens. They've studied us. Then, something worse appeared. A massive ship, larger than any human had seen, moved slowly from behind Fortress 9. Its body was made of black steel, pulsing with red light. On its side was a symbol, half Thalrex, half human. Rhea gasped. "What is that?" Dax narrowed his eyes. "That's what they built from our wreckage." The ship fired once, and one human destroyer vanished in a burst of silence. No fire, no explosion, just gone. "They're erasing ships," Rhea whispered. "What kind of weapon is that?" Dax didn't know, but he knew one thing. They couldn't fight that ship head-on. "Pull back," he ordered. "Regroup behind the asteroid field." The fleet began retreating. Some ships didn't make it. Others were damaged badly. But most escaped, slipping behind a group of frozen rocks and hiding in the shadows. Inside the Iron Vow, the crew worked fast to repair shields and tend to the wounded. Rhea slammed her fist into the wall. "They tricked us." Dax nodded. "Yes, and now we know what they've become." He looked at the captured footage of the Thalrex superweapon. It wasn't just a ship. It was a message. The Thalrex weren't just planning to win. They wanted to erase Earth from memory. "They built that to end us," Dax said, "but they forgot who we are." Back on the Thalrex command ship, General Harkon watched the footage too. He stood beside Varkul, who smiled weakly. "See?" Varkul said. They ran. Harkon didn't smile. "No," he said. "They're not running. They're learning." He turned to his soldiers. "Double the watch. They'll come back." And they would. Because Earth had lost a battle, but not the war. In the shadows of space, the human fleet began to plan. They had seen the Thalrex's strongest weapon. Now they would find a way to break it, and this time the trap would be theirs. The human fleet hid in the cold shadows of an asteroid field. Ships floated quietly, their lights dimmed, their engines off. It was like hiding inside a graveyard of rocks. Outside, the Thalrex searched, scanning space, looking for the fleet they thought they had destroyed. Inside the Iron Vow, Commander Dax stood in the war room with Captain Rhea and the lead engineers. A giant screen showed the Thalrex superweapon, the black ship that had erased a human destroyer with one blast. Rhea crossed her arms. "We can't fight that thing head-on. It's too strong, too fast." Dax nodded. "Agreed, but every weapon has a weakness. We just need to find it." One of the engineers, an older man named Kieran, stepped forward. "We studied the energy. Released. It's using something new, maybe unstable. That weapon draws power from a stolen human prototype, something Earth never finished." Rhea raised an eyebrow. "So it's not perfect?" Kieran smiled slightly. "No, it's strong but unstable. If we hit it in the right spot at the right time, we can break it." Dax leaned over the map. "Show me how." They worked for hours building a risky plan. It had 3 steps. Lure the superweapon into the asteroid field. Use hidden EMP mines to weaken its shields. Send a stealth team inside to destroy it from the inside. "Wait," Rhea said. "Inside the ship?" Dax nodded. "We can't kill it from the outside. We go in, plant explosives, and get out." Rhea smiled. "That's insane." Dax looked at her. "That's Earth." The next day, the plan began. The Valkyrie and 2 other fast ships flew out of the asteroid field, making noise, firing fake shots, drawing attention. The Thalrex took the bait. The massive black ship turned and followed. It moved slowly, like a monster that knew it couldn't be stopped. As it entered the asteroid field, small mines hidden in the rocks lit up and exploded. Bright blue energy waves cracked across its shields. The Thalrex ship slowed. "Now!" shouted Dax. A small human stealth shuttle, covered in black paint and cooled to hide from sensors, slipped through the smoke. Inside were 6 elite soldiers. Rhea led them. The shuttle latched onto the side of the superweapon. A laser cutter opened the metal, and the team slipped inside. What they saw chilled them. The ship was part machine, part Thalrex, part human. Wires ran along walls like veins. The air was cold, filled with a strange green fog. Screams echoed deep inside, recordings of human soldiers from the past. "They used our dead," Rhea whispered. "They made this ship from our pain." They moved fast, planting charges near the power core. But then they were seen. Alarms screamed. Thalrex soldiers poured into the halls. "Hold them off," Rhea shouted. 3 more minutes." Blasters fired. Smoke filled the halls. 2 humans were hit. The others pushed forward. Rhea stayed at the back, covering her team. "Detonators ready," shouted Lynn, one of the techs. "Good, now run," she yelled. The team rushed back toward the shuttle. Rhea fired the last shot, then dove in just as the hatch closed. "Go," she screamed. The shuttle sped away, dodging fire. Behind them, the charges exploded. First small blasts, then a massive white-hot eruption. The Thalrex superweapon cracked open in space, its black armor peeling like paper. It didn't explode. It collapsed, folding in on itself before vanishing in a pulse of light. Back on the iron vow, cheers erupted. "We did it," someone said. Dax didn't smile. "One ship is gone, but the war is not over." On the Thalrex homeworld, General Harkon watched the destruction. His jaw tightened. His red eyes burned. "They broke the beast," he said. "Now, we break them." He turned to his second-in-command. "Call every ship, every soldier. We attack now." He pointed at the stars. "We end humanity, forever." But far across space in the silent dark, Earth's fleet was already moving. They had broken the enemy's greatest weapon. Now, they were going to break their empire. The stars trembled as the largest Thalrex fleet ever seen began to gather. Thousands of warships, carriers, and destroyers moved as one, like a black storm spreading across space. Their mission was clear: find the humans and wipe them out completely. But the humans didn't wait to be hunted. Commander Dax stood at the front of the iron vow, his eyes cold and focused. "They're coming," he said. "Good. So are we. Captain." Rhea joined him, still bruised from the mission that destroyed the Thalrex superweapon. "Let's not run this time," she said. "Let's hit first." Dax nodded. "We strike where it hurts most. Their command base, their war council. If we take it, the rest falls apart. In deep space, hidden inside a dying star system, the Thalrex command base floated, heavily guarded, protected by mines, shield domes, and heavy guns. No ship had ever touched it, until now. The humans split their fleet. One half moved openly, drawing the Thalrex main forces away. The other half, Dax's team, slipped into the dark behind old asteroid tunnels, using gravity currents to move undetected. The Thalrex chased the decoy force, thinking they had cornered the humans. But it was a lie, and the real attack had already begun. The Valkyrie, Iron Vow, and a dozen elite cruisers came out of hiding just kilometers from the Thalrex base. "Hit them hard," Dax ordered. Lasers fired. Torpedoes launched. Explosions rocked the enemy defenses. The shield dome cracked. Under the pressure, inside the Thalrex base, panic spread. "We're under attack," shouted one officer. "Impossible," another yelled. "Their fleet is supposed to be light years away." But it was real. Captain Rhea led a ground team in small assault pods that slammed into the base. Soldiers poured out, taking hallways, fighting hand to hand. Thalrex guards fought back, but the humans moved like fire. Fast, angry, unstoppable. Dax's voice came through the comms. We take the base. We stop the war. Rhea kicked open the doors to the war chamber. Thalrex. Leaders stood frozen. She pointed her blaster. End this now, or I end you. But one of them laughed. You think taking this base ends us? Rhea didn't flinch. No, but it's a good start. Outside, the space battle grew fiercer. The Thalrex called for help, but their own fleet was too far away, chasing shadows. Suddenly, a large explosion shook the command base. The humans had hit the main reactor. Dax's voice echoed over the fleet. Everyone out! We're done here. The human fleet turned and vanished into space just as the Thalrex base exploded behind them. A bright ball of fire that lit up the dark. Across the galaxy, people watched in silence. The Thalrex had ruled for centuries. Now, they were bleeding. Now they were afraid. Back on the Iron Vow, Rhea sat beside Dax, both silent. We struck hard, she said. Dax nodded. But they're not finished. They'll strike back. And they did. The Thalrex fleet stopped chasing the decoys. They turned, furious, vengeful, and set a new course. Earth's last hidden colony, Varkul, the traitor, had given them everything. Maps, codes, secrets. Now, the Thalrex knew where the last humans lived. Back on the bridge, a message came through. Emergency. Beacon from Colony Sigma, Lynn said. They're under attack. Rhea's heart sank. They found it. Dax stood. Then we don't run. We make our stand. He looked at his crew. We started this fight when Earth burned. We finish it by saving what's left. The last stand was coming, and the humans would not fight to survive. They would fight to win. Colony Sigma was the last light of Earth, the final home where survivors lived, worked, and rebuilt. It floated on the edge of a quiet planet, hidden in the mist of nebula clouds. Children laughed in metal halls. Old soldiers trained young recruits. People planted crops in domes made of glass. Then the sky turned black. Thalrex warships appeared like demons rising from the shadows. Hundreds of them. They surrounded the colony, engines glowing, weapons charged. Inside, alarms screamed. This is not a drill. Evacuate non-combatants. Prepare to defend the walls. Commander Dax watched from the bridge of the Iron Vow, racing toward the colony with every ship he had left. They're early, he said, but we're ready. Captain Rhea stood beside him, strapping on her armor. This is it, Dax nodded. One last fight. For Earth. For everyone. The fleet arrived just in time. Human warships blasted into the battlefield, roaring like lions in the void. The colony's defense turrets joined in, firing from hidden bunkers. The sky lit up with fire and fury. The Thalrex came in waves, ships diving, shooting, crashing, but the humans held the line. For every ship that fell, another rose in its place. On the ground, Rhea led the defense. She fought in the colony gates with her team, standing shoulder to shoulder with farmers, engineers, and even children who had learned to fight. We're not just survivors, she shouted. We're Earth. Then, from the center of the Thalrex fleet, a final horror appeared. Varkul himself. He had taken control of a warship powered by both Thalrex and human tech. His voice echoed. Across all frequencies. You fight for a lost world, he said. You are dust, I am the future. Dax answered calmly. No, you are the mistake, and we're here to erase you. The Iron Vow charged straight at Varkul's ship. Dax took the helm himself, pushing the engines beyond their limits. All power to weapons, he ordered. Let's end this. The two ships collided in battle. Metal screaming, shields failing, missiles tearing through space. Inside Varkul's ship, chaos broke out. His stolen tech failed him, his crew panicked, and then Rhea's team boarded it. She found Varkul, in the control room, face twisted with rage. You could have stood with us, she said. He sneered. And be weak like Earth? She fired once. Varkul dropped. Earth was never weak, she whispered. Outside, the last Thalrex ships began to fall back. Their command was gone. Their power was broken. One by one, they vanished into deep space. The battle was over. Colony Sigma still stood. On the Iron Vow, Dax looked out at the stars. We were pushed, he said, Burned, betrayed. He turned to his crew, but we didn't break, we rose. Across the galaxy, news spread. The humans had survived. No, more than that. They had won. People from other worlds, once silent, began to speak up. New allies stepped forward. Old enemies kept their distance. Earth had fallen, but humanity had risen, not with fear, not with surrender, but with fire and fury, and the galaxy would never forget.